Throwaway time. What's your secret that could literally ruin your life if it came out? IT guy here. It's amazing what people will do on their computers and say in their emails despite having to sign a waiver that all computer activity at work is monitored and recorded. I have half the company's banking, social media and personal email account info and passwords. I know who is secretly banging who at the office behind their spouses' backs. I know who is cybering at work and jerking it in the bathroom almost daily. At least they tell their sex chat partner they're running off to the bathroom to jerk it. Haven't felt the need to check the validity of that one. I know when people are having marital problems, financial problems. I even know one person here had their children taken away because a social worker found cocaine in their house. I know who is embezzling money. I know when people get fired for completely bullshit reasons, like they just want to replace them with someone younger and nicer on the eyes. And I know who my boss is buying Xanax and Vicodins from. Basically I have a treasure trove of my co-workers' secrets. I won't actively do anything with this info, but it's nice knowing I have the ammunition there if something were to ever happen. My life. But my single secret. This will get buried. But that's fine. I was about 23 and was working kind of late. My friend wanted to go out and was bugging me about it. He's gay. I'm not. But eventually he talked me into it. So we go to a little dive bar and are hanging out. Just chatting. A couple of friends were supposed to come too, but they never showed up. I was nursing my first gin and tonic when I went to the bathroom. I came back and finished my drink. And that's when things started getting fuzzy. I knew something was wrong so I ordered water for my second drink. But it didn't work. My world was spinning. And I had basically lost control of my motor functions. My memory is pretty rough too. I remember my head on the bar. And he was rubbing my crotch. I remember him helping me to his car. Dragging me up his stairs. Passing out on his floor. Him blowing me. I was back in his car at one point and then I woke up in my bed. I felt like shit and was totally surprised that my car was in the driveway. I have no idea how I got home. At one point in the night I left an incoherent voicemail on my best bud's phone. So I was raped. And I was so embarrassed. He totally got away with it. I've never told anyone. Not even my wife. She knows something happened. Just not the extent. It's time telling anyone this. This thread is so deep that probably no one will see. But if one person does see it, it'll feel better. I am basically living a lie. I told my entire family I was able to transfer out of community college and into a university. But I never finished up the requirements. So since I live at home, every day instead of going to school I go to the local library and BS. My lies are so extensive. I even go to the campus and meet my girlfriend for lunch sometimes. I've made fake transcripts to show my family. And to make it look like I'm actually studying I go to MIT Open Coursera to look up facts that I learned in class that day. I have become a remarkable liar. I hope to be transferring in the fall and then I look forward to living a normal life. Coming clean is not an option at this point. Helped out my female friend's family by taking care of their cat for a week. Every day for a week. I would go over there and snoop around their house. I found my friend's diary. And proceeded to read the entire thing. I used this information to get her to like me. And she is currently my wife. This is literally the juiciest secret in this thread for some reason. Not totally bland. But not overly obscene. Probably because this is something I could actually picture any person doing if given the chance. I agree. It is not particularly evil. But it is a misdeed that completely altered that guy's life. Honestly. It sounds like a pitch for a mediocre romantic comedy. This is my old account. So might as well throw it away. While on deployment, I killed a man in a coup de grace. The feelings of taking a man's life always weigh a heavy burden on me every day. No one likes hurting people. He had been hit by some of our mobile artillery. While part of me wanted the bastard to be in pain, it wasn't right. My medic was busy with my wounded. And as the officer on duty I took out my .45 and put one in his head. I knew my boys wouldn't say anything. Most just watched. Accepted it as a fact of war. And kept walking. I remember throwing up afterwards. I came home and everyone acted like I was a hero. I never felt like more of a sham my entire life. This will probably never be seen by anyone but FCK it. My father once owned a cat who loved to suck our earlobes for whatever reason. About half a decade ago my father left me alone in his apartment with his cat and I don't know exactly why, but I just grabbed the cat. Went in the bathroom with it. Laid on my back. Put it on my chest and let it suck my earlobes while masturbating. I find myself f***ing disgusting when I think about it, but I still think that it was one of my best faps. I have memories of my sister, 5 years older, and I playing a roleplay game when I was younger that I think would be considered sexual abuse molestation if I told anyone. I don't remember how old we were. But I know she was around the age where her breasts were developing. When home alone we would play a roleplay game where she was a boss and I was a secretary. And the boss would always sexually harass the secretary. It ended in my sucking on my sister's breasts while she would lie on the couch with her shirt off. My memory has always been really horrible. So I only remember patches of this. But I remember that it never felt sexual. I don't actually trust my memory enough to feel confident that this really happened. I love my sister. She's my best friend and I would never want to damage our relationship by ever bringing this up and asking her what really happened. It is a secret I will carry with me and never reveal. Also, till it's hard coming up with a throwaway name. Edit. To clarify, I'm a woman. Just in case anyone assumed otherwise. Cousin died when we were both 17. There was a reception at his house just after the funeral. I went into his room and stole all the money that was there. Took some other valuables that his parents wouldn't realize were gone. No one knows that I did it. They just assumed he didn't have any money in his room. Only loose change. I don't regret it. But I will never admit I did it. Also my cum box. I was 17, I was gang raped after a party. The cops didn't believe me. My parents didn't believe me. And everyone who I've told since has stopped talking to me. It was not pretty. I was cut up at a party. Beaten and thrown in my car. They drove donuts in the grass field next to a church on a Saturday night. Sunday morning. F-ked up my car and left me battered and bruised in the back seat. I woke up initially when I was being raped, only think gang as I do remember multiple voices at this point, but then tried to keep myself awake long enough between blackouts by blasting music. So the cops found me at the wheel of my car with people lining up for church with F-king metal blasting on repeat. I planned murders in retribution but decided it was better to just leave. The only proof I had was that I shat blood for a week, but I felt so bad I couldn't even show anyone. Shitting when you have a rectal tear is a terrible thing. The thing that hurt the most was that no one believed me. I did make stories and lies, but none to this extent. I was 15, my parents were going through a divorce. My mom worked night shifts and my dad was living with a friend of his. One night my sister, who was 19 at the time, came home pretty drunk from a party. She was acting goofy and fell on the couch next to me. She started grabbing my leg and laughing and we started fondling. We ended up having sex right there. When we woke up the next day she had no recollection of the night before, so I just kept my mouth shut. Fast forward to when I'm 18. Sister is home from college and dad is over for a visit. They get into an argument and in a fit of rage my dad announces how he has never forgiven her for the abortion she got when she was 19 and subsequently killing his grandchild. He's very religious. I then realize the baby she aborted was in fact mine. And as far as I know, I am the only one who knows, since she has never mentioned that night. May not ruin my life, but would really prefer if it didn't get out. 26-year-old male. And have visited with 30+ escorts over a 4-year period. This includes girls in the Amsterdam red light district to girls in Asian massage parlors. First time was about 6 months after breaking up with my first girlfriend. To be honest, I stopped counting how many times I've actually paid a visit to one of these girls. Was never very confident with girls growing up. So this was much easier than actually having to put myself out there. I guess I'm actually fairly good looking and have much more confidence now. It's only in the last couple years that I've come to realize how easy it is to attract girls. And sadly recall how much time and money I've wasted on escorts. Been almost a year since I last made a visit. Edit. Did a rough count. Place the number roughly around 34 different girls. Surely I'm forgetting some. With a going rate of $200 to $300 each time. Well, it makes me sick to do that math on that one. But probably close to $10. 000 total. Some of these girls I saw 2-3 times at most. At least it provides me with more motivation to keep away from this hobby. 2.5 years ago I was in dire financial straits. So I sold my home to keep my struggling business afloat. I neglected to tell the owners that they have an 800 square ft bunker on the property that I built about 7 years ago. The bunker that I've called home since I sold it. The entrance to it is well hidden. But I still come and go very early, very late in the day. I'm a single man who keeps to himself. I'm now in a situation where I could move somewhere else. But I love this hidden paradise so much that I've been considering suicide for the past few months. My friends know I'm going through a rough time. But if they knew I've come so close to actually killing myself, everyone would see me differently. The only way they would know would be if it was already done. I don't want them to think of me like that if I do decide to continue living. So I haven't told anyone that knows me. I'm sure there are plenty of others in similar situations. Story I tell is that my first kiss was 9 years ago. When I was 14. With my now fiancée. False. When I was 13. I babysat an 8-year-old boy. His parents were very open. And he was very sexually aware. I caught him watching porn a couple of times. From the start. He was very aggressive. Always grabbing me and trying to kiss me. After a while. Oddly impressed with this new sort of attention. And very curious about kissing. One night we started making out. This became routine. And went on for probably almost a year. Before I realized how horrific and wrong my actions were. I continued to babysit him for a while. But soon his parents stopped calling me. I've always wondered why. I'm terrified that I'll one day be exposed as a child molester. TL. Doctor, as a 13-year-old girl, I frequently made out with an 8-year-old. After graduating from high school, I went to a small out-of-state college where no one from high school knew me. I was told many times how impressive my false Australian accent was. So I decided it would be great fun to go through college pretending to be from Australia. All of my friends and even my girlfriend of 2 years think I'm Australian. I have a completely fake Australian identity, family, and past. I will soon be graduating. And I plan on asking the girl to marry me. Everything she knows about me is Australian. I don't know how to tell her she doesn't really know me. Guess I'm forever a bloke. No, this thread is most likely dead now. But I used to masturbate a lot. And when I was 10 I had a technique where I'd let off a load into a sock, then wash it and quickly dry it. Now I couldn't leave it hanging outside or use a dryer, otherwise my family would have seen it and probably smell it or whatnot. So I'd put it inside my gas heater unit. Unfortunately my sock had caught on fire inside the unit. Blew it up and set my house on fire. Only my brother was home at the time. And he managed to survive, the house did not. For 5 years we stayed from caravan park to caravan park whilst we waited for confirmation that it was not arson and we could receive an insurance payout. We eventually did and scraped together money to start rebuilding the house. The house is still being rebuilt to this day, and it shames me anytime I have to visit my parents living in a tiny mobile home where my backyard once was.